to talk a little bit about what I'm seeing in the market and just some strategies that I think would be really helpful, especially for newer loan originators. And Phil talked about it, but having the plan of what this market condition is bringing is key. So we have a client right now, past client of mine, moved here from Colorado 2 years ago and is now moving to New Mexico. And inevitably, he has a house that he needs to sell in order to buy, or does he? And I think that when we think about strategy, it's one of those things that there's really 3 different scopes of strategy for this particular buyer. And I just want to encourage everybody to kind of dig deep and get the homework dialed in. Now, this is an amazing group, but if you have newer loan officers or newer LOAs on your team, these types of strategies could be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up the mortgage coach and kind of show you real life of what we showed this buyer. Now, ultimately, his risk level was wanting to purchase the New Mexico house and sell Arizona. But when he spoke to us initially, his house in Arizona wasn't even under contract yet. And what happened? He did find the house in New Mexico that he went under contract on and needed to remove the contingency. So I don't know about where you guys are, but here in the Phoenix metro area, as well as New Mexico where he's buying, it was moving to a seller's market. Again, when we think about seller's market, we think about removing contingencies. We think about removing, inspections sometimes. We think about fast closes and all that type of stuff. So it feels like it's kind of been this hurry up and wait type of tempo over the last 18 months. Well, I'm here to tell you this stuff is back and this market is back for certain parts of the country. So with this buyer, we removed the contingency because we were able to bring him as a temporary solution, a bridge loan. Now, a bridge loan, some of you have, some of you don't, but we have one where we were able to cross-collateralize both properties, the Arizona property together with New Mexico, and show him that option. But if you know anything about bridge financing, it's not super cheap and certainly not the most cost-effective approach. So when we built this out, we showed him strategy A, strategy B, strategy C, and kind of dug into the details. So I'm going to share really quick. So unique or contingent versus non-contingent. So this is the strategy. So first scenario, we're showing straight, assuming contingent, house in Arizona closes prior to or simultaneous with New Mexico, the cleanest one. He's excited. Yes, yes, yes. And that's what we're showing, 20% down. Now, we did bring to him the same type of scenario, also contingent on Arizona closing simultaneous, but we showed him a 7-year ARM. ARMs are hot. Again, we know that. We've been in this ARM environment for the last couple of years, and we have a unique ARM that really fit, and that's actually the loan that he ended up locking with, but we wanted to show him options. So both scenario 1, both scenario 2, contingent on Arizona. Well, guess what? He gets under contract. He's calling me last weekend. The buyer on Arizona needs to now close after New Mexico. What do we do? Well, now he doesn't have the 20% down payment. So strategy 1, strategy 2, put him on the back burner. And now we've got to get back into 2 of the initial strategies that we showed, which is 1, using that temporary bridge loan, which isn't ideal, but it's an option, or strategy number 4. And this is what I really wanted to remind everybody of. And that is with a Fannie Mae loan, if the buyer is selling a house and all the contingencies are removed from the buyer of their house. So in this case, if the Arizona buyer gets through all of their financing contingencies, appraisal contingency, and they have approval without any prior to doc conditions, then we don't have to count the Arizona house in the down payment or in the debt to income ratio. However, we still had to solve for down payment. So strategy number 4 is kind of cool. And I really want to make sure y'all are thinking about this, is recast, recast, recast. So what we did was we came back into strategy number 4, showing that $795 purchase price, doing minimum down to keep it the conforming loan limit, which was the 726.2 number, and realizing that that's going to be temporary because he's going to have to take that out. Arizona would close after New Mexico. And then in 2 months, he'll bring back the proceeds from Arizona and do a principal reduction. We'll recast the loan at that point in time. That does mean that his payment's higher. He's paying mortgage insurance in this scenario, but it solves for the ability to buy New Mexico without closing on Arizona first. So lots of moving pieces here, but that recast option is bold for two scenarios. One, if they have the down payment, which he did, to be able to do about a 9% down without selling the Arizona house. And two, as long as that buyer was through all of their financing contingencies, because he cannot qualify without selling Arizona or without the contingencies being removed on the Arizona property, which means that our last and ultimate loan of last resort, but it's still available, is that bridge loan. So what we're doing is essentially, guys, we are running 3 different scenarios simultaneous because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So for example, the buyer on his Arizona property, we're getting weekly loan status updates from their lender. We are certainly monitoring, but y'all know how it works. I mean, sometimes you just get down to the end of the day, and if that buyer can't perform and remove the contingencies prior to New Mexico closing and close Arizona on time, we are back in the game with a bridge loan. So, right, I mean, just a lot of different strategies and thought that has to go into this type of market. You know, this buyer was so just like, there's so much emotion taking place. And when I spoke with him last week, and it just reminded me of, we are so much more than just mortgage advisors. Many times we're the people that are just helping them reset, refocus, reevaluate in the moment when tensions are high and emotions are high. And, you know, he wasn't even, he was questioning whether his real estate agent was giving him the best advice, because not because he didn't trust him, but because you guys know how it is when emotions run that high, you're just like looking for answers, and to be able to pull up the cost analysis and walk him through it again and just, hey, Richard, from the beginning, here were our strategies. We still have all of these options. It's okay. Let's kind of go through that. And just to kind of be that sounding board is such an important part of what we do as an industry. And I just want to remind everybody that this is so much more than just loans. This is truly about giving that confidence in the education and the guidance that buyers need now more than ever, because we are in that limited inventory environment, which means seller's market, which means we're going to see more and more of these types of scenarios.